Recording in progress. Come on.
Next thing I need to order is a 48-volt lithium battery pack. Bicycle. Got a couple of 36 volts, but now I got a 48.
That's what I've got. I've got 36 volt. That probably wouldn't help.
Yeah. I still need those for the other bike. So I wanted to go 36.
Can't hear you, Art.
They actually cost more for the motors.
Wait a second.
Phasing those out and going from 36.
It's not me. I can hear other things. I can't hear you though. I don't think it's me, Art. Howdy.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. You're a little on the low side, but I can live with it.
That's what his wife said.
Oh. Let's see if maybe I need to.
So you can hear me okay? My volume's okay? You went away.
I went away. I'll bump that up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but a minute ago I couldn't.
That was weird. Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okie doke.
So what's new, Art, over in Art World?
Well, not much. I mean, just living from day to day, so to speak. We're having a bit of a recurrence of the COVID, what is it, variant 4 and 5 now. The others have gone away. But so far, so good, as the guy falling past the 42nd floor said. So I see you're getting some rain there today, or at least in Milford, they were getting some rain. We got about 1/3 of an inch. They also had a pretty heavy blow from what I could see on the security cameras. The trees were really whipping around.
We got quite a bit of rain, and it all happened really fast.
They also said that there were some reports of tornadoes in north of Cincinnati, but I don't know what that means. Does that mean Westchester? Or does that mean Cleveland?
At the library, we didn't see any rain. They didn't have any rain here, but up north of here in Monroe, we had quite a bit of rain and blow and maybe a tornado or something. It was bad up there.
I sat out on the back porch watching the rain for a while, and it, weather-wise, I mean, tornado-wise, I didn't see anything. A lot of wind, but a lot of rain, and it all came down really fast.
Yeah, that's the way it looked in Milford also.
I saw a couple of pictures of people that have posted on Twitter what they said were tornadoes, and I don't think they were. I think they were like wall clouds or some sort of hanging thing. But I'm not an expert, so they may have actually seen tornadoes.
Well, if there is a tornado, probably being out on your porch is not a good idea.
I didn't feel unsafe out there, so got wet. The back porch is covered, and I mean, the wind was whipping through there so good. I was pretty much soaked by the time I came back in.
So you have an overhang on that porch, or is it open?
It's an open open on one side and an overhang. It's basically a covered porch.
So it depends on which way the wind's blowing, whether you get wet or not.
Or the fact that the wind was changing directions on me. At one point, it was blowing from north to south, and then suddenly it decided to change and blow south to north. So there could have been a little bit of a cyclone thing going on there. I don't know. But I didn't see any clouds or anything that looked like a tornado, because I would have taken pictures. I would have been happy. Like, that one right there.
Get on the news.
Wow. I would have had to have gone, oh, go get in the bathtub because the tornado is coming. And then Patty would be all freaking out because the tornado was coming. It was also, we were also under a heat advisory until 7 p.m.
Yeah, well, I think that certainly in Milford, the temperature dropped about 10 degrees once it started raining.
Yeah, it felt nice after the rain. I was afraid it was going to get humid again, but so far it still feels decent outside.
74 degrees, feels like 81.
Yeah. Well, we were under a heat advisory. It was 100 at noon today. It was 100. It felt like 101 in a couple of places. It looked like 112. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's the combination of the humidity and temperature.
Don't want to go out. Yeah, I opened the door when they said that, and I was like, nope, not going outside. Going right back in.
So, Jim, I took your advice regarding the Murderbot series, and I signed up put on hold actually 3 of the first 3, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that within just a day or so, I got the first one, and I now have the second one. So I've read 1, 6, and 2 I just got this morning. So
Oh, okay.
I'm only about 10 pages into it so far. But the next one, I think it's the next one in the series, it's got an estimate of months.
Wow.
So I may have to wait on that one.
Yeah, I just finished 6 first time through. Yeah, I'll go through it again.
Are there 6? How many's in the series? 'Cause I just picked up book 1. I got about 1/4 of the way through it so far.
Okay, there's 6 I know of.
Okay, I thought maybe they were being funny and printed them out as 1 and then 6 and then 4.
But you can put a bunch on hold, and if you get one of them, you can just release it. You can release the hold on it. It's very easy. And if you get one checked out, you can check it back in anytime. So they're getting pretty flexible on them.
So follow the same character through?
Yeah,
Okay, that'll be good.
it's basically the same story. I started with 4 or something like that, and I was able to follow it. Of course, I'm not I don't read meticulously like Art probably does. I'm just drift through. And I've read a couple of them 2 times. And I read one of them twice and then got Gail, and Gail listened to it with me. And she got kind of hooked on it too. So she kind of likes it.
I need to start. I need to just switch off everything and just start reading.
Well, yeah, you got grandbabies. We got,
You read to them, right?
I've got, I'm
Murderbot would be a
just,
good one to read to the kids. huh?
I just read it, starting another Orson Scott Card one, Orson Scott Card story. He's read they're like children's books, but they're very appealing. It's called Duplex. A very interesting writer.
So is 6 the last one, Jim?
It's the last one I've seen.
Yeah. I think 6 was the last one.
I read 6 first, unfortunately.
So you know how it ends.
Network is the one I'm on now. I think that is 6, maybe it's 5.
I don't know. Let me look here. All Systems Red is the first one, and I read that.
Yeah.
Artificial Condition is the second one, and I read that. I just started reading that. I just got access to it this morning. Not sure what else I've got on holds. Oh, I have Rogue Protocol, which I think is number 3, and that is currently forecasting several months.
Wow.
So
Everybody's reading the books at the same time.
yeah, probably. Well, it turns out, at least on Libby, you can put 30 on hold and check out 20 at a time. So so actually those are separate, because you wouldn't have it on hold if you had already checked it out, or at least I can't think of a reason why you do that. So you got access to 50 at any given point in time. So if you go in there and just, sort of hook up for 50 books, you're occupying a lot of the library there.
I am usually maxed out on my holds, and then to the point that I have to go to my wish list, because it's a lot of work. Once you've read as many books as I've read, it's hard to keep track of what you can do, and finding them gets to be a task. So I go to all the holds that I can get, and then I go push over into the wish list. And when I get my holds back down again, I can go to back to the wish list and start packing the wish list. And I'll go scan the wish list for available books. And first I'll scan for holds. I put on hold what I can until I run out of holds. So it's work. Yeah, it's work finding reading materials.
You keep a spreadsheet of the books you've read?
Actually, if you don't use Libby and use what I call Trumpy, if you use Trumpy, I'm still mad at them for Libby. But if you use Trumpy, it's got a history list.
Oh, okay.
And when I download a book, I mark it as, I give it a rating. And that indicates I've read it. When I go through my book list, I'll sort them and see which ones have ratings by me. And I know.
According to Goodreads, goodreads.com, series 1, there are actually 7 books. There's book 4 is Exit Strategy, and then book 4.5 is Home, Habitat, Range, Niche, Territory.
I haven't seen that one.
And then, yeah, I don't know where that one came from, because And then it looks like there's going to be 3 more books in the series that haven't been released yet.
All right. Well, and two, I'm one rung down because I only read audiobooks. So I'm going to be behind that. But Art will jump out in front of me.
What? Read audiobooks. You do that braille?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
know.
So,
Sign language.
Read is a loose term.
Sign
For
language,
listen?
yeah.
so do the audiobooks come out after the print books?
Typically. There are some people that when they come out, they also come out in audiobooks, like those books by the news guy, Bill O'Reilly. He always, his books come out, they come out in audio too.
Well, does he read them himself?
Some of them he does. I don't know if he does all of them. I don't think he does all of them.
Because for those authors who don't read them themselves, they've probably got to get a reader lined up to go through them. So
Yeah.
that
I
would
like
account.
this guy that does the Murderbot series. He's good. He's sarcastic, and you need a little sarcasm in there, and he does a good job.
According to marthawells.com, it looks like there's 6 primary books and then one that falls kind of outside. So there's 7 books. That's what it looks like.
So all of them feature the same character going through?
Probably the Murderbot series, I would think so.
Yeah, well, I've read something recently, I think last week, where the outfit that produces Libby is discontinuing whatever the other one was. I don't remember what the Overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're discontinuing Overdrive as of December this year, and they will only be continuing with the Libby series. Now,
Okay.
the question is, what is Trumpy anyway?
What is what? Oh, Trumpy.
Is that just Overdrive?
Yeah, it's just Overdrive. I'm irritated because they named it Libby and liberal. I'm saying there should be a Trumpy.
So basically, when that goes away, they will only have the Libby version.
I will have to use Libby. Yeah, I've used it.
Doesn't
And I
Lib-
used it, but when I went over to it, the first time I went to Libby, it didn't do audiobooks. Okay, and excuse me.
Doesn't Libby actually mean library?
Yeah, and then
You can make it Liberace and then you
Yeah.
won't feel so,
yeah, and the
Without
second
joy.
time I went over, I noticed they didn't have my book history. This Overdrive has book history, and they've enhanced Overdrive to include some of the features of Libby, which is a book search thing, which I find relatively useless.
Oh.
But they included some of those features in Overdrive. So
Well, you can, according to my version of Libby, so to speak, you can check it out with Libby, but then you can read it either with Libby or Kindle. And I started reading them with Kindle because I have a bunch of Kindles as well. I don't have the hardware. I have just the Kindle account on Amazon. But then I found that it was easier for me just to read it in Libby, and that keeps my history. Now, I only started using this a couple of years ago, so I don't know how far back it goes.
Oh, does it keep? Okay. Yeah. one thing they do much better is download the books. Okay. Overdrive had issues getting hung up and skipping chapters and all that crap. You had to fight it sometimes. But, with me, I'd rather do that than.
I
fix their
typically
new
get books from Project Gutenberg.
That's what I
Yeah.
was trying to think of. Yeah, I've used those before too, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I typically get books.
And they have audiobooks too.
Some of them, not all of them have been translated to audio.
Yeah, oh yeah. And
Some of them.
they look for volunteers to do it. In fact, I need to give them back some that I converted.
LibriVox has a lot that's audio.
LibriVox, okay. LibriVox, or whatever. LibriVox, yeah.
They have a lot of audio. They're all audio books, as a matter of
But
fact.
they have to be like 25 years expired. So.
Yeah, it's all in the public domain. And you take your chances on who's reading it because
Yeah,
they're volunteers. They're all volunteers.
yeah.
So
Some of them are pretty scraggly.
I've had a couple of them where you kind of get the feeling where they're reading an English book, trying to learn English.
I think part of the issue is the availability of readers.
Yeah,
I know that a friend of Barbara's is a reader, and she's apparently in pretty high demand. She apparently any given time she wants to read, she can get an assignment instantaneously. Now she limits herself to some certain categories of reading. So she has certain authors she follows and so forth and so on. But I get the impression that there's a shortage of readers. Now, it may be that there's a shortage of acceptable readers. If you get somebody who has a heavy foreign accent, that makes it very difficult to understand.
I have heard, I have downloaded a couple of them where I couldn't listen to it because I couldn't understand what they were saying. And they were speaking English. So I think it happens. And I almost get the feeling like they were practicing English, trying to learn or something.
Okay. Well, maybe they were taking English as a second language, an ESL class, and this was an assignment.
That's almost that's almost how I feel some of these are. So
Well, I've
definitely
spent,
room for improvement, but I mean, they're out there if you want to listen to them. And,
I've spent so much time listening to non-English speakers that most accents I can follow pretty well. But when I was teaching at San Jose City College, frequently I was the only person in the whole class for whom English was their their mother tongue, so to speak.
yeah.
With the Hispanic kids, the second and third generation were often bilingual, and they weren't difficult to understand, but some of the Vietnamese guys were,
I've picked up a couple of them, and I think the girl was Korean, maybe, and she was understandable, but she definitely had an accent, and there were some words that she just did not pronounce well.
Yeah.
But she was actually one of the better ones of the foreign ones that I had found. And then another place I get audio books or books in general is archive.org. Archive has a ton of books on it.
archive.org.
Yeah.
Huh.
They have they have a lot of stuff on there that you wouldn't think should be in the public domain, but looks like it is.
Well, current copyright laws is life of the author plus 50.
Yeah,
And there's been some talk about changing that, but so if you want to read something like Mark Twain or you know, some of the guys back in the early part of the 20th century, they're for the most part public domain.
yeah. Well, there's some stuff that, like the original stories of Sherlock Holmes are public domain, but the newer stuff isn't yet.
Yeah.
Haven't made it close.
Well, A. Conan Doyle's been dead for about 100 years now, so the stuff by the original by A. Conan Doyle is long out of copyright, but there's been a lot of Sherlock Holmes-like authors since then.
His estate fights a lot of that stuff. So they're fighting a lot of that stuff. There should have been, when it hit out of copyright, there should have been a bunch of stuff, and then they fought it. And they still fight with like Netflix that did that show, and they fought with somebody else because it was too much like one story that wasn't out of copyright yet.
I just looked up archive.org. They got a zillion different collections.
Oh, yeah. You want old radio magazines? Type in 73 magazines. You
Oh,
want
yeah.
popular electronics? Type that in. I mean, they're all there.
Well, apparently they have some A.B. Dick stuff too, because I see this Electric Sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Electric Sheep, which is his classic novel. And he's been dead. He died, I think, in 1982 or 84, someplace. So that's not 50 years yet, but
A lot of his stuff, though, has, for some reason, is in the public domain. Maybe it always was. Maybe.
I was thinking A.B. Dick is a merchandise.
Philip K. Dick.
Did they make some kind of controllers or something? No, printers. Printers, yeah.
You mean Philip K. Dick, right? Electric Sheep.
something about do electric sheep dream in something or another. I forget what the original title was. But I think he wrote that like in the 70s or late 60s.
You're talking about do androids dream of electric sheep? Is that the one you're talking about?
I didn't catch that.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Something like that, yeah.
That was Philip K. Dick, and that's the book that Blade Runner was based off of.
Yeah, that's A.B. Dick, right?
Philip K.
Oh, I'm sorry, not A.B. Dick. A.B. Dick is an English author. Philip K. Dick, yes. And he died in the early 80s, quite
82.
young. Pardon?
82.
Yeah, quite young, actually. He was in his, I think he was,
He was a prolific author, very paranoid guy. He freaked out about a lot of technology that was coming.
yep.
But I don't know. A lot of his stuff has made it to public domain. I don't know if the estate just released it or how that happened, because he's not old enough.
Well,
to
I
do
think
that.
he actually put a lot of his stuff in public domain, and I think that may have happened. That may have been part of his estate. That when he kicked the bucket, he wanted the stuff in public domain. He was he was very creative, but he was kind of a strange dude.
The stories that I have seen about him, he was out there. And
Yep,
that's saying a lot.
he was even crazy for the 70s. Okay, and everybody was crazy in the 70s.
Yeah, he was out there. He was very, very paranoid. He thought the government was coming after him in every possible second.
Yeah,
He wrote a ton of stuff though that was turned into movies, and people don't even know who he is. I mean, it's just,
yep.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Well, Harrison Ford played the lead in his one movie. I know that.
yeah. Well, he wrote Blade Runner was based on one of his books. What was that? Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he was a secret agent, but they wiped his mind, and then he
Total Recall?
Total Recall, that was based on one of his books.
Yeah.
The Man in the High Castle was based on one of his books. There's dozens and dozens and dozens. His books, his thoughts were so out there that they were easy to turn into shows.
Well, I think the nature of his novels was such that they were easy to convert into a movie, whereas some authors, boy, you'd have to really rewrite the whole thing to turn it into a movie.
In A Scanner Darkly, that was a movie that's been turned into several different TV shows and movies. The guy was just out there. He's one of those, really need to read him. He's a very interesting.
Have to pick up some of his books for us to debut on the meeting announcement. Oh, Airbus solar powered Zephyr S has been flying nonstop for more than 17 days. It's a 35-yard wide solar powered plane. I'm going to use it for a platform for military stuff.
Well, why not?
It's they've been flying it like over New Mexico, and they went and flew it down to the Gulf Coast, and now it's coming back. It's up like 15 miles high.
So what do they do? Have a team of pilots or what?
I suspect they're flying it remotely and giving it like waypoints. And just say, go here, go there. But you know, they actually it's been up like 45 days before. This is another test flight. But if you think about it, that'd be really great for a cell phone and internet. Just fly one of those puppies up, and just leave it up there. And it's not like in outer space, way out there. It's, in near 15 miles high is pretty cool. And they could run, cable TV or internet dish TV or something.
So you're talking, it's like 75, 80,000 feet, something like that?
Yeah,
So it's well above commercial airliners.
there's a link to the articles. Another book the Chernobyl book is good, and I'm reading one on what's his name that's putting the space vehicles up. What is his name?
Musk?
Yeah,
Or
Elon Musk. Very interesting individual. It was surprising. I thought of just watching him, he's a nut, but he is a bit out there. He's kind of out there, but he's not a dummy. He's the one that he actually was co-inventor of PayPal.
yeah. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the initial funding came from.
Yeah, he's been sued, but I don't think they got anything out of him. I think he may have won the suit, but they hadn't paid him. But he hadn't cared, like he's got the monkey on their back. The other guy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. His car too, somebody else, they basically ran the guy off that started the company, and he just came in and because it was going to go away.
Mhm.
And Musk came in and resuscitated it and got it going, and basically saved the company. In order to save the company, had to execute the guy. He said, he's a nice guy and all that, but we can't let him be in charge.
Yeah. Oh, the story I heard, he was talking on, I think it was a TED Talk. He said something about Tesla was basically just a name when he got there, and he turned it into something.
Yeah, it started before Elon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he said. It was a company.
Yeah,
That much is true, but it
Yeah.
wasn't much of a company.
yeah, it wasn't going to make it.
That was, he bought it and he did something with it.
Well, I think he was heavily instrumental in the partnership with Toyota. And that's how they got the plant in California. Basically, Toyota and GM had this plant here in Fremont. And when GM went belly up, Toyota ended up with a plant on their books, and apparently had no interest in building cars there. And so, because you may remember, it was GM first, and then it was called Numi Motors. And then that's the primary investment that Toyota made in Tesla, is to provide that plant. And they've gradually rolled out, so they now occupy the whole plant.
Now you're plugging up a hole in the book, because I didn't know any of that, and I should have. I wondered how in the hell they would go into production. How in the hell you got a bunch of people that were geniuses, but they never ran a production facility, and they left that out of the book. You can tell us about that, Art. Also, I learned that the 18650 that I attributed to the development of the Tesla. No, 18650 was out way before Tesla.
That was Phillips battery.
Yeah,
Pioneer battery.
It was Panasonic.
One of those P words.
And what happened is Musk was looking around and he said, look at this 18650. He's just impressed crazy about the 18650. And ended
Yeah,
up using it.
I knew that somebody that was the 18650 had been around for a while, but nobody really knew what to do with it. And
Well,
Musk
they
kind
were,
of
they
said,
were putting them in battery packs.
let's,
Yeah,
let's do this.
yeah. They had
I
them-
knew that was why the 18650 became so popular, was because they're in the Teslas.
But they were in the battery packs for computers for years. And,
Yeah.
oh, I can remember that the packs were shaped like
They
that.
were shaped like that.
And now we know.
I think that was originally a Panasonic development, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was one of those P words.
Yeah, they make the good ones.
They, I think Musk had something to do with how they balance the charging of them though, or something.
Yeah, it was, yeah, well, you had to in the bulk,
In bulk. right.
thousands, they had thousands of them in the car.
Yeah, I don't think they had quite worked out the bulk charging situation, but Musk had figured that out. But I knew the batteries had been around for a while. They just weren't as common to see them.
And nobody knew what they were.
And they were expensive too. But those battery packs were expensive, and now you can get 18650s for a little bit of nothing.
Yeah.
They're not terribly impressive, you know. You'd think they'd be wonderful and they should be wonderful, but they have idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, you let them sit for too long without charging them,
Yeah, they crap out.
they crap out.
Yeah, I was buying computer battery packs just to salvage the cells out of them and then weld them into, oh, you saw that
Yeah,
big battery I made, yeah. That's not worth the time anymore. You can less than half. the time.
somebody gave me a big battery pack. I don't know who did it, but when I went through and I checked the cells, I was like, probably not really worth my time to cut this thing apart, because there were only like 3 or 4 of them that actually tested good.
Yeah, and then for how long would they run?
And from years ago, when they were semi-expensive, and I found them cheap, I bought like 3 or 4 packs, and I've still got 1 pack that I haven't even opened yet. So it's not like I really need 16 650s right now. But I knew he had a lot to do with why that battery became popular and why it became cheap-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the rocket ships too. Is that the rocket ship story is interesting too. And he also has a solar business.
Knew about the solar business.
Yep.
Know about the tunneling business.
No.
Oh, for alleviating the traffic in LA.
Oh, yeah, is
Vegas.
and yeah,
The
proposals.
drilling company or whatever that thing is.
Their proposal, San Francisco to LA tunnel, yeah.
And there was supposed to be one in Michigan somewhere. I think the one in Vegas is the only one that he's even worked on right now. I don't know.
Well, he's doing a prototype, a short prototype. And his ultimate mission is, do you know what his ultimate mission is?
Save the planet,
Nope.
make a whole lot of money.
Actually, he's going to save the planet. This is to do with that. You know what it is, Art?
LA to New
Not
York.
offhand.
It's mission to Mars,
Oh,
populating
Oh,
Mars.
yeah, well, that's generally accepted. Yeah,
They get that wormhole.
he is apparently pretty clever in putting together engineering teams. I mean, he does all the spokesperson and promotion stuff, but he also manages to get together teams that are pretty effective, like the SpaceX team. And I mean, the SpaceX team is make uh, make NASA look like uh, the Keystone Cops by comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't hit a deadline or a budget. Okay. They never saw a budget they didn't like to overrun, and they never saw a deadline that they were at all constrained by. And you got to admit that SpaceX got a pretty good track record.
They admit in the book that they're usually behind, but not way behind, not crazy behind. They're generally not on time, but much closer than some of the others.
SpaceX has had some pretty good success.
They have had some failures too,
Oh, yeah.
but
But they're-
not close to the rest of the guys.
They've done some pretty impressive things with vertically landing that rocket.
Oh, yeah.
That is really impressive.
Well, I particularly like the one where they landed the two side by side.
I did
That,
not see that one.
yeah, you can find that video on YouTube or wherever, but basically those two suckers came down on adjacent pads and just settled right in. But landing on the boats, I think, is even more impressive.
Yeah.
Because you got this boat that's going whoopty 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 whoop, and
got the yaw in the pitch of the boat, and you've got something moving really fast coming in and going, stop. Okay, I'm down. And it's a rocket. You're going, that shouldn't do that.
well, they basically reminded me of the space science fiction stuff
Mhm.
in the 50s, where they would show these rockets coming straight down and landing on but the facts of life are the first people to do that were SpaceX in real life. All the others.
Blue, what is
Oh,
it?
Blue Origin.
Blue Origin.
That's Bozo. Bezo.
Well,
Bezo.
but he didn't land one from space. He landed one from high orbit or high altitude.
Yeah, I don't think Blue Origin has been to space yet. They've been really high.
Yeah.
I don't think they've actually been to space.
Well, you got Jeff Bezos, and you got who's the guy that Richard Branson, and he does all his launches from planes.
Yeah.
Basically, the rockets are on the belly of the plane and it drops away, very much like the Bell X back in the late 50s did.
Branson he won that prize that one year doing that. And he was kind of ahead of the game, and then he kind of fell way behind everybody else.
Yeah.
You don't hear too much about Virgin Airlines, Virgin Space.
Virgin
whatever that
Atlantic.
is. Yeah, you don't hear too much about them anymore. It's all,
Now we get a lot of Blue Origin work at work.
oh,
Just material testing.
cool.
Enough so that we had to buy a liquid nitrogen large liquid nitrogen tank outside because we were going through about 20 of the 5-foot big 50-gallon tanks a week because they wanted all that 300 below zero testing. And it's like, we need to upscale it. So we got this big 20-foot tank outside. But nothing specific, it's just all just material they're playing with. No fancy parts to look at.
They just want to know how the material's going to react at certain
Yeah, just
temperatures and whatever.
Freeze it and break it.
So this was the metallurgy for the tanks?
Yeah. I've seen aluminum tube sections come by where you can tell it was a curved sheet of out of about a 20-foot cylinder, maybe. We come in and we would slice that up and test it.
Hey,
Whoa!
Hey, Ray.
Whoa! Kenny's still
hey
alive.
guys,
Yeah.
I am still alive. Sorry.
Ray's up there. We just can't see Ray.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and I think there's a view somewhere I can see the Statue of Liberty or something around here, but
From
out
Brooklyn?
of one of the windows of the building.
So where's that?
You'd have to look across Manhattan to see the Statue of Liberty.
Didn't make it tonight?
Steve,
Huh.
his company lost power and they're freaking out. So he said if you came with this, he was sorry and to come back, but I'll look and see if I can make it
Did you
work.
say he's sorry? Yes, he is sorry.
He's just begun to be sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look and see if I can make it work.
Hey, don't
He
make fun
doesn't
of
know
Steve.
what
Steve
sorry
is the man of the hour.
He will know what's
Very soon.
Okay, I can't make it work. I
Oh,
can't even
Jesus.
find the power button.
So Ray, did you know we got a laser in this building?
Yeah, it's some Junko
Missed it. I missed it.
epilogue, isn't it?
Yeah. There's this
Yeah, I
person
know.
looking at it and they go, it's out of service right now. It's got they're waiting for a mirror to come in.
What's out of service?
So I gave a
That's
mirror
pretty
number.
easy.
It says you guys need to get a rabbit, get local service.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, we know.
Well, we are going to partner up with Middletown, and that way we can provide like a much bigger maker space. So if they want to contribute a sewing machine and stuff like that, that's great. But and I'd love for them to provide a printer, but I'm going to provide like CNC router and 3D printer and a laser and some other stuff. So that would be really great for us in Middletown.
In Middletown?
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Put
you're
your
not
name on the
afraid
building?
that the stuff's going to walk out of there?
I'm not going to have a whole lot of stuff available. So it's not going to be like I'm putting all my tools there. I guess the library is supposed to have some people monitoring the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they
Maybe
do.
that's where the donation should go. We've got 3 laser machines that we're ready to donate somewhere.
I'll take one.
And yeah, I got a blue and gray one you'd love to have. That's our third one. We've got a red and white rabbit that's a 24 by 36 inches, 60 watts. That's a really nice one. And on my truck right now is it's a 1290. It was upgraded a few years ago, but it needs a thorough cleaning, some rebuild parts, some bearings, some stuff like that, optics. It's probably going to be about $600 worth of parts, maybe $1,000 worth of parts, and then just a bunch of labor. It would be nice to give it a new window, new coat of paint, and stuff like that. So, anyway, no, you guys can't say anything bad about Steve. Steve's my man. He's helping me with my server. So.
So you said that the power's out at this place, company, and they're freaking out.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Well, you don't, why would you freak out?
Because they got probably 100 servers.
The company that Steve works for, they run software that's always running on the internet online, and it provides information, data services, calculation services, all that stuff. And it requires these really high-end internet servers to be running. So if they don't have any power, it is a devastating event. They are losing thousands of dollars per minute. So yeah, somebody needs to be able to be there and to get things on the line running as fast as possible. So Steve's the man there too. But not having power, it's not Steve's fault, but they do want him to work on it as fast as possible.
Where's the CD? You got secure boot disabled.
And don't say you ain't got one.
Well, guys, I got to get going back to my customer. I just wanted to check in, see how you guys were doing, see what Steve was up to.
So, Ray,
Yes, sir.
make sure you stop by Ray, by,
MakerBot.
pardon?
There's a whole lot of places in New York City.
Yeah, you want to stop by Nathan's and pick up a hot dog.
Ah,
If you got one? I'll take it.
That's an experience in its own.
they just had the hot dog eating contest the other day.
I think they would.
Yeah.
It's just
They need to talk, he needs to talk to Snyder Electric.
Well, even Menards has got a backup generator right out in the parking lot, you know?
I'm sure that.
Take care.
Got it.
I'll talk to you later.
See you.
Bye
Ray.
now.
Yeah, Ray.
Glad you dropped by.
Oh, hear you, Ray.
That's right.
Okay, true image or system reboot, system report, or continue booting. I'm guessing.
No continue booting.
I guess we're going to true image.
Yeah. Continue boot up will take you to Windows, and we don't need
Yeah,
Windows.
I figured
We've been
that.
there
I figured
several
that.
times.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I did, I acted like you didn't know what it
So
meant.
is that a dual boot
I've
or
been there
not?
too many times. I've been to Windows too many times.
Dude, they're trying to do a backup of this new laptop. And they couldn't get the DVD to boot, which I think it's booting, but I think I've got it booting.
So what did you do?
I changed the boot order.
Okay, I don't know.
You had secure boot disabled,
Right,
but it was still trying to boot the OS first before it looked for
oh,
the
okay.
CD or the DVD or whatever this is.
Okay, so now it should work forever.
You're right.
So I changed the boot order, told it to do this first,
Okay,
then fall back to USB. So if you had a flash drive,
right.
and then fall back to OS boot. So it's going to be, in theory, just a tad bit slower to boot the OS. Doing it like this, because it's going to look for this first, and then it's going to look for something else, and then it's going to boot the OS. But it shouldn't be too bad. I mean,
We got it to see that device.
it
But-
says,
Yeah, but we got an error message.
you got an error message. Console may not work correctly. Is that the error message you got?
That's too long, too far.
So what are you trying to boot it into, Leroy?
Trying to boot it to the Acronis Linux boot. Acronis boots to
Video.
Linux.
Video
Boots
setup
an app.
error. It's not doing something. It's not doing anything now.
And I think that's where we were. We got it.
Do you have a boot thumb drive there?
No.
we got a DVD
It's a DVD.
and that I
Thanks
use to
for
boot
filtering.
back up my systems all the time. Windows, if you look at Windows 10 to do backups, it points back to Windows 7. Have you ever done it?
No.
Yeah, it points back to Windows 7. And
I thought you guys couldn't get this thing to boot up at all.
no, we got it to boot, but then we got an error message and we said,
Well done.
we don't know. I just wanted to, mine, you booted up and said, you want to go back to the historical? I said, yes, and it was over.
Hmm.
This thing has got a problem after you,
Well, it's a problem that's Microsoft put in there, so
it's a feature.
it's a feature there. Okay, so live with it, you know? Hmm.
Well, seems like it's having a problem with loading detection. Seems like it's having a problem loading video drivers or something for this thing. Acronis may just be really out of date. 2014, that's pretty old.
It works on my latest. Boom. That's why I use my brand new system. Works fine. It's worked fine on, it's been used, that boot disk has been used on 15 different computers and never failed. Even the
Until now.
latest, yeah, even the latest one that says, do you want to use GTFT or whatever it is? No, so you want to use the old style? Yes, bling. Now it's done. And I don't know.
Video notes.
Well, Art, I need to bring you up to speed. You still there, Art?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. The back deck, got two decks at the house. The main deck, the spotlights were kind of installed about 10 years ago, and they were kind of like the lens fell out, the bulbs weren't working anymore. So we decided to upgrade, and we went to a Ring camera. So we installed a Ring camera in the backyard so I can watch the deer and raccoons and the squirrels play. It's got two little floodlights, you
And
know,
it's real squirrely around this place too. Yeah.
so now I have a Ring camera in the front and a Ring camera in the back. And this one now knows the time of day, so when I go out there at night, spotlights come on. I go during the day, no lights. So, yeah. So now I'm almost covered. I got the side door to do, but I'll have to wait a while until my stimulus check comes in.
So the purpose of this is home security or just watching the animals?
The purpose of this is, so when I go to bed and I'm upstairs, okay, I don't have to go downstairs to see if something's on the deck. I can take a look from my bed, you know? I'll just roll over, grab my camera and say, okay, anybody there? So, yep. So it's somewhat security, somewhat for the animals, somewhat for my laziness.
Okay.
But I am getting old climbing those stairs. So, yeah.
So, Leroy, any luck?
Yes. No, it's some video. It's not loading the video driver correctly. And I don't see anything in BIOS to tell it to use a different video. To disable video. Or whatever. So we're gonna see if, I don't know, Steve's probably a better Linux person to do the command line thing, but I'll see if there's a way to tell it to do. Seems like it's a video, it's having a problem loading the video drivers.
Does it have an external video connection on it by any chance?
I don't think it does.
HDMI, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen to have a switch next to that, does it?
Not that I see.
Okay. A couple of times I've been in this kind of a quandary and I found out that there's a little micro switch on the edge of the computer someplace. And if you put it in the wrong position, it just doesn't work.
Well, I've never heard of that. My Christmas present.
Yeah, I do not see a switch anywhere.
Okay.
Slowly upgrading my systems.
I don't feel a switch. I don't see a switch.
I got a few more things to do this year.
So Leroy,
Yes.
No, maybe not at home.
one of the things that when I'm really having a driver problem, I use older distribution called Knopex. I don't know if you've ever used it or not.
Okay.
It's KNOPPIX, I think.
Okay.
And it can be either a live CD or a live thumb drive. And it's particularly good at dealing with driver problems. But I
Okay.
usually don't have a problem if I just use either Ubuntu or Linux Mint or even CentOS. I don't have a problem with. So
This distro that they're loading is specifically for backups. It's not a full,
it's not a full OS.
it's not a full, full-blown OS, no.
And you have that on an external
DVD drive, yeah.
DVD drive. Okay. I always like the flash drives because they're much faster. But, you know, drivers are the last frontier of computer annoyance. I hope. Is that running, what kind of a CPU is that running? Do you know? Is that Intel or is that an AMD or what?
I think it's an Intel. I think that's what I saw was an i7.
Yeah. Art, have you ever heard of somebody at the gas station swiping your credit card and taking your numbers?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Have you ever heard of anybody swiping your card at the gas station and taking your numbers?
Oh yeah, I hear about it all the time. Basically, the way around that is to pay cash, but these days you have to carry a pretty thick wad of cash in order to fill a tank up.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Illinois toll service doesn't take cash. It's only credit cards. Yes, indeed.
Or iPass.
You can buy an iPass, yeah, I guess you could, yeah. but I'm cheap, okay?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
no, yeah, that's like, yeah, they were cheap.
But you know, yeah, plate to plate, you pay for what you use. And you give me your credit card, okay? And you go through like, and you don't even know you're going through,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
How does Access Acronis Management Console?
And you could just buzz past all the tolls, and then when you get home, log on to the website and pay all your
Open.
tolls.
That's how it works, that's how I do it,
Okay,
okay? But I didn't pay it the first 4 months.
oh,
They caught me.
they found you, yeah.
Yeah, they found you. They look at that plate, I took a picture of that plate.
Does Acronis work on Windows 10?
It's a while plate and zip, 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 there you go. And they send you a letter.
Fines included?
If you didn't pay it right away. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's easy then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let them figure it out, let you know when it's due,
Exactly.
right?
Lazy.
I can't read it.
Backup console cannot be opened.
Well, you learned to write to be
If-
lazy, right?
It's a video. Frame buffer parameters. Module boot wizard, EFI, kernel console may not work correctly, and that's where we're stopped at.
Oh, I got it.
And I have tried
Um,
a half a dozen times to hit the E button right as it pops up, and it won't let me hit the E button.
You've tried the
I don't mind.
Control Alt F7 combination, right?
Control
This is to
Alt
do-
F7
get, insurance through the company
for, to get like into a different
vacation.
console menu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, nothing's working. No, that's working.
doesn't work. Okay.
Done.
Yeah, it's a kernel problem, I think, because it's saying that the kernel console may not work. So either it's not loading correctly or I don't know. This one's a little baffling. And I don't have a bootable flash drive with me. I can't even see if it would work with something else. So I'm gonna have to. Did you try doing the system report, Jim? To see what the system report said?
Nope.
Let's see what that might say. That might tell us something.
Okay.
That might tell us something. Otherwise, can I just take and karate this?
No, I still need it. Although I have another backup still.
You don't want me to karate this for you? Because I'll do that
It's
for you.
paid for, you know.
I'll be happy to. karate
They
it
talk
for you.
about the Acronis web console.
So you're just wanting to back that up? So,
Backup the operating system, so if it did crash, we could back it up from there.
okay.
Sounds good in theory.
Otherwise, you can do just about everything. If you got a bug on it, or you got an infection on it,
Okay.
you're done.
Yeah, I tried to turn on my computer. I don't play with Linux. I tried it once. And it wasn't going smooth. So I went to go.
They won't even let me into the system report. I'm gonna take a picture of the screen and send it to Steve,
In my,
Okay.
because
so it says, I can't load this.
it's kind of baffling me as to what it's doing.
Not-
Steve might know. Steve might have an idea.
We need to torture him to more about Windows. Since he didn't show up, we get to torture him more. Yeah.
Well,
I went to Micro Center, and I got a bug on it. I said, "Everything you do is like, that's it."
Oh, then you have to-
I had bought my own, so I had no one, so I didn't have to worry about that, but
Yeah.
everything else was lost. So I learned. Sit there.
That's what porn will do to you.
I was warned about it, yeah. I took it to Mr. PC, and said, "You been watching porn?" I said,
Not me.
"No." Not me."
It's been watching me though.
Well, yeah, that was the first words he asked me to watch. Well, it was a nice thought.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Steve may have an idea.
Yeah, convert to Linux and use the Linux application and boot to the server. Yeah, right.
No,
Steve may have an idea. I messed up. I left the CD in there. Give it up, give it up. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Sorry, Kenny. I think that one's beyond.
What was the error message?
I can send it to you,
Mhm.
or I could show it to you.
Just tell me what it is.
Video mode setup error, error 0.
Video mode setup error.
Yeah,
Acronis. Somebody's run into that error message before.
I'm sure they have. Acronis 2014 version, because
Click Rescue Media Builder.
we're not even at that point.
Setup error. It has been fixed in update 4 of Acronis Cyber Backup 12.5. Great. Well, that's good news. The solution for a restore, but I get the error at the universal restore option, not the standard. Invalid video frame buffer parameter.
That's it. That's what it says.
Try one of the following. Thank you. Boot the computer from Acronis bootable media. Yeah. Use F11 Acronis Startup Recovery Manager. Perform a recovery disk cloning or another operation, and the computer reboot was requested.
Okay, Steve says he'll bring a 2019 version of Acronis and try it.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
that's what I think. It's just too old. That
Yeah.
machine's just too
Yeah,
new.
we can update the license. They should do that.
Hopefully he gives a copy of 219.
Yeah.
To take a copy, be happy.
If he makes a bootable disk, I'd be happy.
Yeah. Then we can just put this in the history channel and be done.
Yeah, make a bootable disk, a bootable CD or DVD. We'd be okay. Good deal. Had a little Stevie boy. Start a recovery, perform a recovery, disk cloning or other operation. And a computer reboot was requested. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steve says he's sorry, but weather and stuff got in the way this time.
Okay.
He'll try again next week.
We enjoyed torturing him about Windows stuff. We got fun out of this anyway. Poor Steve, he's such a good boy.
I'll give that back to you.
Yeah, if that works on your stuff,
Yeah,
no
Yeah.
reason not to use it,
Yeah.
right?
it's, I just said,
I just think this is too
Yeah.
new for something from 2014.
no, I use it on my computer
Well, I
at
know, but
home
your
all the time. It's
computer's
a
not
brand
from
new
20
computer. It's brand new to me anyway. It's coming off lease. It's
your
probably 5
computer-
years old.
Your computer's not from 2022.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
Your computer is from 2017.
yeah, probably so. Getting closer.
I can carry it.
I got a case
It
here.
was worth a shot. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
So we might see you next week. huh?
Well, yeah, depends upon the weather. And it-
Yeah, the weather or not, you got a hot day, yeah.
says they still don't have power. And there's 88,000 people without power up there.
In what, Monroe?
Wherever he is right now.
He was over there near you, wasn't he, Art?
Say again?
Where Steve works is over there near you, isn't it, Art?
Yeah, it's over on the east
Coal mine?
side of 275, kind of right across the valley from me. It's the big Siemens facility up there on the hill.
You out in Cincinnati, Art?
That's where he has his
Oh,
other
the
house.
other house, okay.
You're a couple of weeks behind.
I know. I've always been. Well, at least we had, give it a try.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that it wasn't even booting into that screen at all. That was the impression that I had.
Yeah. Okay,
But
but
they-
it looks like they fixed it. And if he's got the latest version, it probably has a fix. And
Cool.
I've run into this
We'll give,
type of issue
we
before,
can give that a try too, Art.
like when they
Pardon?
went to,
I can't do it right now, but we could try it.
If you chase that link, that'll get you
The ice,
Knox 8.6.
yeah.
And it's specifically designed for either a live CD or a live USB, either one.
I didn't
And
bring a flash. Does anybody have a flash drive? I could burn one right now. Probably not. I could try to download it. I don't know. Wait, I may not.
at any
even-
rate, you just save the link. You can do it later on, I guess, but
Canops is pretty small, isn't it? It's not a real large distro, is it?
well, I think it'll go on the smallest thumb
Oh.
drive you can buy these days.
I'm not downloading that. That's 4 gigs. I'm not downloading. I'll do that at home later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably 3 or 4 gigs, something like that. Let's see.
It said it was 4.3 gigs.
It's what?
4.3 gigs.
Yeah, that's about right.
So,
Yeah, there at the library, that'd be pretty painful, I would think.
yeah, I'm not doing that here. I'll wait and do that at home. But put it on an actual flash. I know I've got I've got all the burning software and everything at home, so I can burn it to a flash drive, no problem.
Well, if he's got power out down there, he can't do anything.
Not right now. Yeah, well,
He's sitting in the car.
he's sitting there going, what are we gonna do? It's just no power.
He could have come on out here. The power would have come on.
Yeah, that's probably what they're doing. They're just waiting for stuff to come back.
All the doors are unlocked.
But that was a pretty powerful storm. I traveling in state. Yeah. Doing 35 miles an hour.
So what were you trying to boot it with there in the DVD drive?
That was Acronis 2014 version. Acronis cloning software, or
You make a
Acronis
bootable,
backup.
Acronis backup. You can make a bootable disk, and it boots up some version of Linux and does backups for you.
Okay.
Does image backups. It's solid as a rock, unless first thing I ran into is trying to boot it from a USB device. It didn't know how to boot from USB. This was years ago, so I had to do an update. Yeah.
They can't really see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's not.
it's not real clean.
Well,
I'll put a picture of it.
too
somewhere.
fine for me to
Screen
read.
like your Motorola, shift and it's power and down audio.
Yeah,
I'll do a print screen.
well, I can. The question,
Software already has it. Set to hit button.
I could do that. I'm just not sure how I would get it to. I guess I could email it to Art.
If you do a print screen, then your software will detect it and tell you here it is, and you can mail it to somebody.
Can you move it over to post it on Wix there?
Oh, I probably could do that.
That way you wouldn't have to worry about the bandwidth there at the library. You just basically link it over and to Wix and let it go at that.
If my brain starts working, I probably could do that.
Apparently there's a bunch of power failures in the Cincinnati area right now, according to the news feed.
Steve said 88,000.
Doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me at all. I saw it. It was bad up where we were.
Wow.
So Reolink have communicated with me, and they're replacing my wire-free camera, my first one, the Argus Pro. That's the first one that I got. They're replacing with the Argus 2, which turns out to be identical to the Argus Pro, except for some minor things. So they're gonna send me a new one.
Well, did yours fail, Jim?
Yes, it did. It wouldn't, motion wouldn't trigger it to take a picture.
That's strange. That sounds like a firmware problem.
Yeah.
Can you upgrade the firmware on it?
No. I don't know if you can, because they didn't offer to upgrade the firmware. So I assume you may not be able to on that particular. That was their first Argus series. And Argus is a little different from the others. They took somebody else's package and modified it to be a Reolink product. Is what it appears happened. And that was their first pass. And it's a 2 megapixel camera, which doesn't throw me a lot. And other than that, it's been okay. It's just limited pictures, quality, and it looks like they limited the amount you can transfer at one time to 30 seconds of video, which is okay. Otherwise, I had it out monitoring the hummingbird feeder. And I think that last storm took it out. So I talked with them. I hadn't got satisfaction out of Reolink before. And this is a refurb, keep in mind. And this looks like I'm going to be successful this time. They wanted me to mail it out to their California office. And I didn't want to pay, so I asked them to send me a shipping label. And to my surprise, they did, a prepaid shipping label. So, okay, I can do that. So that was good. And it looks like they're standing behind their refurbs, which makes me happy. Because everything.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay, there is a new picture on the forum. That was
that's on Wix.
some, yeah. Should just say error message.
On the latest battery, the battery of the week, and it may be a rehash.
18650.
No, this is sand battery. Their definition of a battery is somewhat wide. Like our previous battery of the week was a CO2 battery, which turned out to be a 10-ton CO2 battery, not made to fit on your phone, as some might glean from that. This one is they just heat up sand. They're using electric heaters to heat up sand from solar power. And then they also, in England, they're talking about using the heat directly to heat local businesses and stuff. Okay. But if you're in Britain and you're heating local businesses, you're not going to get a whole lot of solar power from Britain. Okay.
Oh, really?
Probably. So they're coming up, and the Swiss have a huge, like a 80 gigawatt hour unit. Of course, I didn't mention it because they're pumping water from an underground cavern that took them like 15 years to set up. So they just pump from an underground cavern from one place to a dam, and then they let the water go back down to the cavern that's half a mile down through granite and all that stuff. It took them like 15 years to do it. But okay, it's the same thing we're doing. We've done before, been done before. So they're really scratching for batteries.
Like the one that has the little arms cranes that picks up the 2-ton block.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got a mile hole in the ground that picks up the blocks and carries them a mile up. And they use that to generate power. Yeah. Yeah. But I thought the little Airbus plane, 35-yard wing width, flying for 17 days was pretty cool. But 45 days was even better. So, yeah. That could open the door for a lot of stuff, a lot of internet access to third world countries mainly.
Yeah. So anybody's city do drone fireworks instead of real fireworks?
Oh,
Drone fireworks, huh?
Yeah, they're doing drone displays. They said they were doing those in Colorado because of the fire hazard.
I
no.
think Mason had a drone display.
Yeah,
They're using the swarm stuff,
yeah.
swarm tech. They're using swarm technology, like the Chinese did a huge swarm display.
And they did that in their Olympics, once, didn't they?
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
done
a
it
couple years
a
ago.
few times. It's a huge couple of hundred drones up there all doing stuff. No, we had real fireworks. I could see smoke and everything. Lots of noise.
Oh, man, down in Monroe, they got the big boys booming down there.
Yeah, I was a little, because our ground was so dry, I was a little like, I hope that those sparks don't go somewhere.
But they've had multiple explosions. They had them up in Independence, Ohio one year. They killed some people. Stuff blew up, set up there.
I went out onto the back porch and I watched Franklin's display. Pretty much like it was right there. I could not see, they must have done some groundwork because you could see it going off below the tree line, but I couldn't really see that, but you could see the light.
Yeah.
We are in a unique spot where they hold a lot of public events. We're right above it. We're actually above the fire department. So I can watch the fire trucks leave when they go somewhere, or I could see into the park when the trees are empty. I could see right into the park. Oh, cool, I can watch the games and stuff right from here. Don't have to deal with the traffic. And last year, I could hear the announcers. I knew what was going on. I knew from the
Oh,
games.
wow, yeah.
Sitting out on the back porch going, yeah. I don't really care about the high school games, but whatever.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment. Did hear the bands playing. Halftime. So sitting up on the high ground, that's pretty cool. Did you see the picture there, Mr. Art?
I'm sorry.
Did you get the picture to show up?
I'm looking for where it is.
It's in the forum. It should be in the forum.
Let me see. Oh, so it's not under projects. Okay.
No, I just posted it.
Good to see.
Yeah.
We'll try again next week, Kenny.
Yeah, all right, world.
Glad you dropped by.
All righty.
See you later.
Take care.
Take care.
I don't know. The Wix app is really kind of funky.
So what's the link to the forum there? I'm having trouble finding it. Can you put it
Go
in
to
the
the
chat?
meeting, it's in the meeting announcement.
I looked for it in the meeting announcement and couldn't find it. That's the reason I asked what the link is.
I think it's further toward the bottom. Let's see where it is now. Okay, virtual meeting information, quick links. Yeah, under quick links, right under the group discussion, club discussion group, forum tab. There's a link right there, right?
Okay.
It's right under the Zoom information. And then you got quick. club
So I went to
questions.
forums. And the most recent thing I find is June 10.
That where you put it?
Did it not actually do it? Error message.
Pardon?
The name of the thing is error message. So there should be two pinned. maybe 3 pinned and then
Yeah, I see it. It's about the fourth one down.
Let me see.
virtual meeting.
Oh, okay, you can show it on, why don't you take over the screen, Leroy? That, dang, just show it.
Okay,
I was trying to.
it's not under quick links.
Has a picture of me, that's good. Yeah. I think, okay,
Okay, is this under club quick links?
yeah, it's under quick links. And it says, club discussion group, forum tab. Click on that and it should have a link. When the link should appear, and then click on the link.
Okay, I'm clicking on club discussion group. Then where do I go?
Just click on it and it depends on how yours works. Normally, when you do that in Windows, the link information appears and you click on the link information and you're there.
All right, I see,
And then the fourth item down, you're getting close to fourth item down, would be error messages.
error message, okay,
Message, there it is.
that I see.
There's Leroy showing you on the screen. And it's got some really handsome guy with a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
He's just having a hard time getting to the forum.
Okay,
So that's the message.
starting a Cronus UEFI loader. Okay. And the video mode setup error, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I see it. I got it.
That's the new compression crazy thing they had. Key.
Steve said pretty much the same thing that I thought, that the kernel is just too old to work with the hardware. And you see where it says press E to edit kernel? I pressed E. I pressed E a lot.
Oh,
Pressing E did not do it.
was it uppercase or lowercase?
I pressed E. I pressed E a lot. E did
Yeah, I
not
got
do nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I tried option 1 and option 2. And neither one of them worked, so.
okay.
So I was hoping that option 2 would at least tell me what the heck the error meant. But option 2,
It blew up too.
it said no. So I'm basically thinking, I mean, Steve kind of said the same thing, that the kernel that's on that bootable CD is just too old for the hardware.
So the kernel is too old for the hardware?
Yeah. It's 2014 on a 2020 laptop or 2022 laptop.
Yeah. Okay, so you need a thumb drive on some relatively recent
Yeah.
distribution.
Steve says he's got the 2019 version. So 2019 should work. That should be new enough.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I would think so.
And in the reading, it says they did do a patch to make it work with the later stuff, so it makes sense.
yeah.
If he's got the patch version or much later version. Yeah.
It's the kernel. It's the underlying thing that actually makes everything work.
Visit the kernel,
The kernel
have a piece of
sandwich.
chicken.
So, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, some of the old stuff, it may be trying to load something that just doesn't exist anymore. And it's going, I don't know how to deal with this. Oh, look.
It's ancient history there. You were fuzzy there for a while.
Yeah,
You're looking much better now. Are you feeling okay?
it's 6:55. We lost 2 guys. I think we're going to lose us now too.
Dive. Looks like an emergency dive.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.
Brother
Take
Ben.
care.
Where did that hand come from? I don't know.
I don't know.
Hands popping up everywhere.
Put stuff away.